Alrighty, guys, welcome to Optimizing Florida, guys, where we discuss everything optimize related. And the objective, of course, is to try to get as close as we can to the optimized life. Okay, so I'm going to make a live stream here for you guys today. Today, we're going to talk about decades, right? Just a random topic I think is going to be kind of fun to talk about. I think we're like at the last year of 29. Have we accomplished everything we would like to accomplish? Fuck no. Are we even close to where we need to get to? Absolutely not. Should I have accomplished more? Absolutely. Okay, so now what we're going to go over is, I guess timelines, right? So let's begin with the whiteboard, my favorite activity. So I don't like that. Well, this is interesting. Normally it gives you the ability to make a live stream. I don't want to do that. Alrighty, guys. For whatever reason, I'm not seeing an option for the whiteboard, but it does not matter. We will just simply share screens and we will do it that way. So let us begin, shall we? Let's create a whiteboard and then share the screen. So yeah, guys, I think what we're going to talk about today, right, is I guess like timelines, right? So the first thing we should be aware of, as always, is we're going to die, right? Obviously. Not super excited about that, not gonna lie. But it's gonna happen. Whether I like it or not, whether you like it or not, we're all going to die. So we have a definite start and end to our journey, right? And whatever we do in the middle of this is what we do to make the most of the time, the memories, and the things that we can do every day, every year, every hour, every second, every moment. And humans are very bad at optimizing. Okay, let's be real. We're lazy. We don't do the things we're supposed to do. I would say like 80, 90% of the time we're not like upkeeping things. One second, guys. So yeah, right. Like basically, this is a problem for us. So yeah, like humans, we suck, right? So, but like let's break this into decades, I guess 10, 20, 30. Unfortunately, I'm about to hit 30. Not super excited about 30, but it's going to happen. So 40, halfway to dying. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. When you're 40, you're halfway to dying. That's it. I don't give a shit. And then 80, right? Like, contrary to popular belief, guys, most of us are going to die around 80-ish. I know you don't want to hear that answer, but that's what's going to happen. We're going to die. And pretty much for the rest of the time, we have to figure out how to make the most of this time, right? And then there's going to be situations and circumstances that will make this very challenging. So for me, like, I would argue I would argue from honestly from 20 all the way to 30 has been pretty much a waste of time. I don't want to say like I haven't accomplished a lot, but I just have not accomplished the things that needed to be accomplished. Anyone who tells you, oh, life is not a race, tell them shut the fuck up. They're a bunch of losers. Yeah, bullshit. It is a fucking race, and we are trying to get results. Okay, this is a result-driven life to get the things that you fucking want. Period. Okay, The older you get, the less patience you're going to have to accomplish things because time becomes more and more precious. Even at 29, I'm realizing that my time is even more and more valuable. I can't be wasting time doing dumb shit anymore. Like I'm even realizing that right now. Like all these stupid behaviors I've been doing for like 10 years need to stop. Everything needs to stop. Right. Um, but like your situation, how you're raised, and then pretty much your mental firmware, I would argue pretty much dictates the majority of your results for the majority of your life. Okay. So, you know, I think the opportunity is this, right? The opportunity is that with AI coming, it's only going to get better and better. We need to use AI to magnify ability as much as possible so we can enjoy life to the absolute maximum for the one time we are alive. Okay. Um, like dying does not really sound fun, just not existing sounds pretty crappy. I think anyone who tells you they're not afraid of dying is lying. Everyone is afraid of dying because it's unknown, right? But like, um, it's good. It's gonna happen, unfortunately. So, like I would say like approaching nearly 30, right? Like there are frames and things you have to come to terms with wherever you're at in life, right? Some of us will become multimillionaires, some of us will become billionaires, some of us will not achieve any of that. Some of us will go to jail, some of us will make a difference in a wide walk of life, a wide range of life. And ultimately, right, what it's going to come down to, it's not the stupid fucking social conflicts, it's not the stupid things, it's not the expectations, it's not the boundaries, it's not any of that. All it really comes down to is what's the maximal effect I can affect around me. Okay. How much effect did I really have? Right? It's accomplishment, it's things that I can do, right? Um, what did I enjoy doing? Was there the maximum in life that I do the best I could have, right? It's a whole host of things that are going to develop this. Okay. Um, and I would say, like at my age, I'm not like super concerned about myself at some point. I know it sounds weird, but I'm more focused on generational understanding because I want you guys to be stewards for the next generation. Okay. Because at some point, I'm not going to be here to make videos anymore, and someone will have to come replace me. Life is really just nothing more than a cycle of replacements, right? We're like the thousandth generation, pretty much. And then someone will come replace us, right? Um, Now, as to what it all means, right? It's really hard to say, but like for our fellow humans, whatever our species accomplishes, whatever end we have, I think the ultimate goal, as Elon always says, is the survival of our species and the propagation of the most superior humans we can possibly make. That's what I care about. The absolute most superior humans, the most superior people that we can make, that we can raise and create. That's ultimately what I would say that having a family, having kids ultimately is going to come down to. Even that is not like legacy, it's a temporary legacy because even your name will be forgotten, everything will be forgotten. Even human history a billion years from now will be forgotten, right? So it's like then where does the meaning come from, right? Um, so the meaning is really gonna come from the moment. Um, every present moment that I have, every moment given to us, we have to make the most of every moment. Okay, like I want you guys to realize that all of this is an illusion. Everything is an illusion. Social media is an illusion. Money is an illusion. The conflicts at work you have are an illusion. The meaningless arguments you have with people are an illusion. It's all temporary. All of it is going away, right? And then by us doing that, we can unburden ourselves from the slavery of bullshit pretty much that we concern ourselves with. Okay. Um, so like things that I'm doing, right? Like, well, first of all, let's think about generational understanding. Like, well, is there any like guarantee I'll be a millionaire or any stuff? Probably not. I mean, if I was to be real with you, I'm not on track for this. We're just simply not on pace, right? But fine, whatever. That doesn't mean that like the existence of reality is pointless, right? It just means that we have to keep reframing what we want to do. So we think about it. Number one, right? We're gonna think about this is that we have mastery. That's what I've been working on for a good while now. Getting closer, but not quite there yet. We have wisdom, and then we have inheritance, right? So, like even when I do like jujitsu, chess, whatever it is, I would like to like give this to them rather than for myself. House, like the wealthiest people in the world understood this hundreds of years ago that if we can be successful in this life, all future generations will be successful and then they will prosper. That is probably the most noble thing that any human can do with their life. There's nothing that is more prosperous than allowing every other human to prosper. Okay. I want you to really think about this very deeply, right? Like when you are so worried about all the shit that you're worried about, right? You're worried about money, you're worried about all the shit you're going to get, right? It all doesn't fucking matter, right? Get your head out of your ass thinking that all this shit fucking matters. It does not fucking matter, okay? All of it is for the future generations, okay? To be real with you, that's really what's come down to. Everything after that is just experiences and enjoyments and then death, right? And then life lets you pick and choose what you can do, what you can't do based off the mental firmware that you have, right? Some of us were dealt crappier hands than others, and then we have to make sense of the reality that we're stuck in or whatever that is, right? Um, so I'm trying to think what else I want to add to this. Um, like, yeah, guys, I think that's pretty much all I'm going to say for this video, right? Like the optimization of my lifespan is to serve that future generation such that they have the maximal time to succeed, to make the best possible decisions, regardless of the situation in which they find themselves, and to ideally propagate life. If we were really to like understand the grand total purpose of all of humanity, right? Elon has it right. Elon Musk, he talks about this. We should be stewards of life itself, right? All this other crap we do is a waste of time, guys. It's all a fucking waste of time. All of it. Yachts, meaningless parties, it's all a fucking waste of time. It's all pointless, right? Being stewards, right? But to be a steward, we'd have to see this through a span of hundreds of years. We can't even see this in decades, hundreds of years. These are the real time spans that change realities, right? Because I guess like on a side tangent, right? If you really think about it, like we're like on a ball. Let's see here. So we're like on a ball, right? Let's see here. Okay, so there's the sun right there. There's all these planets. And then there's this big fucking sun here, basically. And at some point, it's going to kill us, right? So it's really like an odd thing to think about, right? Really think about this. Give me a second, guys. Okay, I keep making circles. I don't want to make more circles. So let us go marker. That is so annoying. For some reason, it's not letting me fix this. All right, give me a second here. So yeah, so like whatever, right? So we have the sun, right? We have. Okay, this is so irritating. Why is this not working freehand? Okay, there it is. So like yeah, we have the sun. Okay. Style. Custom. Oh, this is so annoying. There it is, red. There it is. So we have the sun, right? It's just radiating out an absurd amount of energy, and you're basically just an ant, guys. I want you to think about it. You're a fucking ant. You're a nobody. Like the universe doesn't give a fuck about you, right? Like it doesn't really care about you. The president is an ant. All the human race is an ant, right? Like you're insignificant. You're nothing, basically. Okay, let that sink in. I know, like you watch this like on Neil deGrasse Tyson, but like really like contemplate this for a minute. There's this big ass fucking sun. You're right here for a moment. You just got like the lucky chance to be on this fucking rock that so happens to allow you to fucking exist. Think about that. You just so happen to be lucky enough to not be incinerated by the fucking sun. You're not so far away that you're not going to get radiated to death with gamma rays and die of cancer. Think about how insane that is, right? You're fucking like we're not in the Venus orbit. We're not so far out there you're gonna freeze to death. You're in the exact fucking orbit. And to top this off, right? Like to make this coincidence even more crazy, we're gonna make the Andromeda galaxy, right? It's like a spiral. Okay, so that's a crappy spiral. Let's try it. That one sucks. Let's use a marker. It's not working. All right. That's also not working. Okay. It's just so irritating. All right, size. Okay. All right, whatever, guys. So yeah, so this little spiral. Like we have all this spiraling shit, right? And then at the middle is a fucking black hole. It's like this is really insane if you think about it, right? There's a fucking whatever supermassive black hole according to science, right? And then we're in a spiral galaxy, a galaxy that is held together, and it doesn't just like fly apart, right? Think about that. That's like it's absolutely nuts. And I think according to like if I remember from my astronomy class, we're like on the edge of the fucking like on the arm, one of the arms of the Milky Way, right? Milky Way is like 100,000 light years across. So like like really think about that. Like you're like going through your day, like so worried about your basically not important plebeian fucking like insignificant reality, and then you're like, there's the Milky Way galaxy that's like 100,000 light years across, right? Like that. This is incomprehensible. That this is the world that you live in. Now, if the Earth was like closer to this supermassive black hole, we would just fucking die because all this radiation probably might collide with a random stellar black hole, some shit like that, right? But we just so happen to be on the right area away from all the shit. Like most life is not going to exist in the center of the galaxy, right? There's too much heat generation, radiation, gamma rays, X-rays, star formation. It's not happening. So it's like that's absolutely mind-boggling, like, and then you're on the exact rock at the exact time to exist to watch fucking YouTube. Like, absolutely mind boggling. And not to mention the fact we are at the exact right time to see the universe before, like all the stars basically fade away in about 2 to 3 billion years or something, some crazy number like that, right? So it's like we're really fucking lucky, like insanely lucky. So lucky, in fact, I don't think it's a coincidence. I think God did this. I think there's a creator God that did all this. There's no way we can possibly explain all of these coincidences. Absolutely impossible. And not to mention the fact that like you have a whole fucking universe that so happens to work reasonably well. Gravity works. Like we list all the atomic forces. Gravity works well. Um, the weak force, the strong force. Fucking what are the other forces? Electromagnetism. I think I'm missing a force. Guess quantum effect. That's not a force. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think I'm missing one. But like yeah. So we have like quantum effects, all this bullshit, and it all fucking works. If any of these forces did not work, you don't exist anymore. If the weak force, the strong force don't work, you basically disintegrate like Thanos, right? If gravity doesn't work, planets don't form. Um, that's a lot of goddamn coincidences. Then we're still not done here, right? Then there's the whole goddamn universe. The universe, for whatever fucking reason, for some reason we will never know, exists, right? Absolutely incredible. It exists at all. Like it fucking exists. That's mind boggling, right? Like I would really encourage you guys to take a class like on epistemology if you ever get the chance on the nature of truth itself. It's quite a fascinating um, exploration into the nature of truth and versus reality, right? But epistemology really is concerning itself with like um, the nature of axiomatic statements and self-referential truths that we can deduce. And the fundamental truth is that existence exists, right? And because existence exists, you have the ability to experience things, you have the ability to retain things, you have the ability to remember things, you have the ability to move, you have the ability to sustain, you have the ability to replicate. You have like, all of these abilities in life are not possible without the laws of physics. Impossible. And then even that's all impossible once again without, reality having dimensional space, right? So like if we lived in like a two-dimensional universe, right? Like just a flat universe on a flat plane, then the complexity of that universe is dramatically limited, right? By the space of the universe. But we have up, down, left, and right. Like we can move in multiple dimensions, right? And that is also incredible. Like space itself has the ability to encompass everything. What if there was like a limit to space itself that encompasses a finite region of matter and then, like everything would fall apart, right? Because there would be a limit on expansion itself. So it's a good thing we have expansion because expansion can keep encompassing more and more existence. And then the more and more existence we have, the more and more reality we can have and more possibility. So where I'm leading out with this, right, is we have a point of reference as to why these things exist. We have a point of reference to understand that we are not important. You are not important in the grand scheme of everything. You need to stop thinking that everything is about you. It's not about you, and it never was about you. You are nothing. You are insignificant, and that should humble you to be, like more see the greater perspective, right? That doesn't mean you should not have goals. That doesn't mean you shouldn't, like try to accomplish things. But at the same time, it is absolutely fucking delusional to let yourself be consumed with the day-to-day drama that happens at work. It's absolutely delusional to waste your time on mundane things. You don't have time to be worrying about mundane shit. You don't have the fucking time. Okay? Time is working against you. and you're working in an environment that is fucking dangerous. Okay. This is the thing I want us to really recognize. Existence is dangerous. It is dangerous to human life itself. Humans are a very weak creature. There are many ways we can die. Okay. You can get shot. You can fall onto something. You can get cancer. You can get gamma rays. There are so many fucking ways to kill a human. It's ridiculous. You could poison someone. You could give them cyanide. You could fucking, give them too much morphine. You could give them sedatives. I could think of a billion ways a person could die, right? And here you are worried about when your next paycheck is coming in, right? I know obviously that it's not to say it's not important, but like theoretically, it's not that fucking important. You would find a way to live. You would, right? That's what homeless people for. And there are homeless people that are free, that like being homeless. And that's a valid reality of existence, right? So like what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to get you guys to understand, to refute the notion of your problems as your only fucking problems, that you're so fucking worried about stupid shit, what people think, and all this dumb shit. Like, it doesn't fucking matter. Okay, it does not. Okay, reality is dangerous, guys. Everything is dangerous. You go to a gas giant, you will get torn to shreds by Jupiter's like the turbulence, 800-mile-an-hour hurricanes, right? Like, you are so goddamn lucky that none of this happens. A big meteor could come in and kill 80% of life on Earth right now, right? It wouldn't take very much. A 2 mile wide meteor could hit Earth right now, and all of humanity would be set back 200 years. Okay. Like, and then you might be asking, Drew, what is the point of everything you're saying? What I'm saying is, it is critical that we are aware of how precious everything is. It is immensely precious, all of it. And we all take it for granted. The people you have, the life that you have can be taken from you. Don't forget this, that like you can die. You can die. It is a possibility. Don't forget it. Okay. Just because every day for the last 20 years was normal doesn't mean you couldn't die tomorrow. Any day you can die. Any hour, any minute, any moment, any fucking second. As long as that's in the back of your mind, then you're always going to be cognizant to take every moment as seriously as you can, whenever you can. Okay. And then it also allows us to realize that like all these things we think are so serious are not as serious as we think they are, and then we can live life more optimally with this awareness. Okay. If I do jujitsu as an example, and I do jujitsu, you're probably going to be more respectful to me, because if you're not, then I will like put a stranglehold on you, and then you will respect me, right? Like, you're like, this is common sense, right? Like, if you see a guy with a gun and he's a nice man, but like for whatever reason you're just being an idiot and he warns you, then you will get shot, right? And then you will die. So I want you to understand this. Now this leads to the final part of this live stream, living the optimal life. How can we take all this understanding, this awareness that you have the privilege to have, I might add? No other human or no other animal in existence has this awareness. Not AI, not nothing. Only humans have this awareness. It is like the fact that you weren't born a cockroach, you were born a fucking human, is incredible. You could have been born a cockroach, you could have been born an ant being squashed by humans. You could have been a fish, you could have been anything, but you're a fucking human. Okay, so that again is another incredible coincidence. Now it will lead to this, right? We think about our lifespan because it's a definite lifespan. Within reason, if you're a male, you're probably going to die about 81 years. 80, if you get lucky, maybe 100. It is a myth that most humans are going to live to 100. No, we're not. About 75 to 80 years. Maybe with AI, there might be a huge increase in people living to 100, but that's about the lifespan. So I have maybe 29 years. So maybe like 50, theoretically 50 more years of life, give or take. That's so my deadline's about 50 years and I'm dead. That's about how much time I got on this planet, pretty much. At 18, I had like, let's see how much I had. 68 years. So I lost a grand total of, let's see, 11 years. So I did the math wrong. It would have been 61 years. So now we're at 50. Okay, so the span of life that we have will go into phases, right? So from arguably 1 to 10, I would say if I was developing the most optimal human, I would train them on every conceivable thing I could think of. In every moment, they would be fucking training. And you'd be like, oh, Drew, they're a little kid. I don't give a fuck. They're going to train so that the rest of their life's going to be fucking easy, right? Like they can have fun later. That's irrelevant. 10 to 20 is when you become an adolescent. That's when you start to go through puberty. That's when the brain is still forming more fundamental habits, hobbies, things, routines, that type of shit. That is the time where you use those last 10 years or the previous 10 years to discipline them, to train them, to teach them how to think about the world. And from 10 to 20, we're going to put all this time into teaching them how to critically think, how to be autonomous, how to self-regulate, and how to perform at the absolute peak of ability. The peak of ability is from I would say 20 to 35. That is the peak of all human ability, I would say, for the most part. 20 to 35. Everything after that is just declining performance. And then we can extend that performance for maybe till like 45, maybe. So your window is about from 20 to 35, the absolute peak of ability. The absolute smartest you will ever be, the absolute best memory you will ever have, the fastest you will probably ever be. Like, I don't give a fuck what anyone says that, oh, you can get fast. No, you fucking can't. Like, even if you got faster at 40, you still would have been much faster at 20 because I could have trained you to be way faster. A person who learned jujitsu at 20 will always be better than someone who learned it at 40. I don't give a fuck because that person is stronger. They can regenerate faster and they're quicker. They think faster and they can absorb more information. So you really have finite deadlines that you have to do things in. Okay. Anyone who says anything else is coping. They're coping with the deadlines that they missed. Okay. Which is fine. We all are going to miss our deadlines at some point. But from 10 to 20, if you do it right and you're aware and you train them, like theoretically, by the time they turn 20, they should be ready for the next 50 years. They should have been ready. You had 20 years to train them. That is a lot of fucking time. You can do a lot in 20 years. You can accomplish an insane amount in 20 years. I'm talking like mastering at least 3 domain or 4 domain fields. I would estimate to be top 1% in any set of abilities is about 5 to 6 years. 5 to 6 years of intense training. So that means theoretically, if you had kids, you could get them to master at least 2 or 3 hyper valuable skills at the top 1% level in capability. And if you don't do that, I think you're a bad parent. That's just my honest opinion. Okay. You're a bad parent, you're lazy, and you're not motivated. Okay. I'm sorry. I don't care. To me, it's unacceptable that you basically have a kid that can learn anything at a superhuman level, and you're fucking giving them TikTok and a tablet. Absolutely ridiculous. Okay. Now if you start at 20, like 28, like I did, you're gonna have crappy results. Okay. Like the last 3 years of training that I did, I accomplished a lot, but like compared to like a kid, they would destroy me. They could make all the progress I made. I put thousands of hours in. They could do it in a year. They could even do it maybe even 6 months because their brains are superior learning mechanisms. They can absorb faster. Then from 20 to 30, if everything had been done right, they should have been socialized well. They should have had the capability of socializing across any domain. There's no domain they could not socialize across. There's no situation that could stump them. Impossible, right? And you'd be like, well, Drew, this is a very ambitious plan. This is very ambitious. And I think you should be ambitious. I think anything less is fucking dumb, right? Like there's no excuse, zero excuse as to why this could not occur. It should occur, and you should not settle for anything less, right? Like, um, like humans, you're really training that human to counteract human opposition, to handle humans, and to handle them the most optimal way possible. And that means linguistically, they should be able to be destroyed and to be beaten soundly. Okay. And they should be able to accomplish things autonomously, but yet they should also be able to take feedback without being defensive, right? So notice this whole domain I'm describing to you is not just a domain, it's a mental firmware domain that requires a specific type of training to do it. It is absolutely possible. And by the time you had done this, not only did you breed a superior human, but you basically contributed to the collective of human society by making a person so immensely capable that they can help everybody around them to be more capable. Think about that. You're not just having a kid, or you're not just living your life to be capable. You're trying to be as capable as you can be, so everyone around you can be more capable. If you're incapable, you're fucking useless. If you are capable and they are capable, we can make everybody capable, and we're contributing to a greater collective of success. Okay, so like rewards and money, that's just a side benefit. That's not the reason why we do these things, nor should it be. So like at some point that individual, wherever you find yourself, if you're 10 years old watching this video, you can apply what I'm telling you right now. If you're 20, if you're 30, wherever, it doesn't matter. Okay, at 20, you probably should have had a girlfriend. You probably should have, in my personal opinion, had a pretty good social domain of people that you've talked to. You should have the ability to talk to anybody. There's no reason anybody, any rank, any level, any type of conversational style, doesn't matter. You should have the ability to do it. And then by the time you're 30, at that point, you would have been a matured individual. Okay. I'll give a good example of this. There's this really interesting show called Avatar: The Last Airbender, right? So like in Avatar: The Last Airbender, Avatar Roku, the Avatar before Aang, is 16 years old. He's told by the Fire Sages that he's going to become the Avatar, and he has to get sent away for 12 years to train. Okay, and he does fucking train, and he trains hard as fuck. And by the time he comes back at 28, 29 years old, he is a capable motherfucker. He is dangerous. He can go to Fire Lord Sozin. He talks to him, and they stay friends for a very long time. But for whatever reason, Fire Lord Sozin wants to invade the rest of the world and spread the Fire Nation's empire for whatever reason, for land, for resources. And then what's the name of Avatar Roku confronts Fire Lord Sozin and basically tells him that you can't do this. Four nations are meant to be four, right? And then from a capability standpoint, Avatar Roku is a beast. He mastered earth bending, he mastered air bending, he mastered water bending, and he mastered fire bending, right? All four domains were mastered. Lava bending probably, and some other stuff. And in terms of raw capability, there's nothing that Fire Lord Sozin could do about it, except for one thing that Fire Lord or not that Avatar Roku did not master, and that was the ability of strategy. He got out strategized by Fire Lord Sozin, and that's why he lost. Okay, Sozin realized that in order to beat Roku, he had to play the long game. He couldn't beat him through capability, nor could he match him. So he changed the strategy and the capabilities that he develops in being in power. He realized there's other ways to beat the Avatar rather than just through brute force, right? And then obviously, if you watch the show, he gets his ass handed to him. They don't talk for 50 years. And then whatever, the volcano explodes, and, Fire Lord Sozin's smart guy doesn't get himself killed during those 50 years. That's pretty smart if you ask me. He was able to temper his ambitions until Roku died. Timing. Sozin was decisive. Very smart, right? So now if Roku had during that time been training his strategies and realizing that Sozin would never get rid of those ambitions, and he would have copied Sozin and matched that strategy, and he would not have died, and he wouldn't have been so naive. Okay, because in any best friend, right, there's always a potential enemy because they have ambitions as well, right? Nobody is absolutely infallible. And then just to wrap up this live stream so you guys can really understand all this, 16 to 28, he comes back. He's got like a fucking beard. He's a beast. Everyone comes to him. He gets married at like 29, 30. He's like peak ability, all this shit. And then, like he does this demonstration of like this incredible ability. Not only is it incredible, it's absurdly good. It's stupidly good. It's so fucking good that like it's scary good. It's not just decent. It's insanely good, right? Then, unfortunately, at the end of it, he tries to stop the volcano, and then Sozin comes. Now, did he genuinely want to help Roku? Who knows? Gets hit with gas, and then Sozin says the following: without you, all my plans are suddenly possible. Let that sink in. Without you, all my plans are suddenly possible. So Sozin may have genuinely wanted to help Roku in the moment, but he realized I would rather let my friend die because I have a greater priority, which is my people. My people are more important than a temporary best friend who's getting close to dying, right? Even Roku or even Sozin understood that friendship does not come above his people or his nation. Okay. Sozin was a very high level thinker indeed, right? So it's like, it's ingenious. And then he fucking zooms the other way back to the Fire Nation, accomplish his goal. He, from my perspective, manipulated Avatar Roku, and then the dragon dies with him, and that's the end of Roku's life. And then the 100-Year War started. And then, because of Roku's failure, tons of people die because of Sozin's ambitions. So what we can learn from this, right, is that by the time that one of us hits 30, we should have been developed in these domain sets by which we can applicate our will, our force upon the world to create more people or to, like accomplish things for the greater collective, right? But we also have to be decisive to make sure from 20 to 30 that we picked the right domain skill sets and not be like Avatar Roku, right? He missed one critical skill set. Maybe if he hadn't mastered maybe water bending, whatever, maybe he didn't master water bending, but he mastered the art of strategy, he might have survived. And then maybe the 100-Year War would have never started. And then his wife and him could have died of old age, right? That would have been a happy ending. But for whatever reason, for the next 25 years, it seems like he doesn't improve, right? He does not improve. There was no improvement to be seen, or whatever that improvement was. So from 30 to 40, you're going to attain some type of seniority or some type of greater ability. You're probably going to become a mentor around this point. 40 to 50, it's, you're going to try to contribute what's left that you can from 40 to 50. 50 to 80 is just basically dying. Like you're just trying to maintain what ability you have. Does that make sense? Like you're not going to like make new PRs. You're just trying to maintain what you have, right? Because it's a losing battle. Your aging always wins, right? It doesn't not win. Aging is going to kick your ass, right? So then there's this process around like 60 to 70 where you're like, damn, I'm not even close to as strong where I'm not even as close as I'm not as strong as I used to be. I have to depend on people now. I still have more wisdom, I have more experience, but I'm not the young person that I used to be, right? So now it's like you're now a grandfather, you're realizing your time is coming to an end. Then you're like 70, you're like, damn, I only have a little bit of time left. Now you're just going to try to do as much as you can with this time left. Your ability is continually deteriorating even further. You can walk less fast. You get tired more easy. You can't remember as much. You talk slower. Like if I'm a chess player and I'm 70, I'm not playing anywhere near as good as I am right now at 29, right? Because my brain is very plastic. At 70, not even close. Okay. Like if you think that your brain will be the same at 70 that it was at 25, you're delusional. What else? Then you're like 80. Let's just say for whatever reason you make it to 80 now. Like now it's like your ability has diminished even more. You walk even less fast. You're dependent on people. Maybe even people have to change you. Like you really can't enjoy much anymore. You can't even perform at a high level. You're kind of at this point just existing, and the quality of life is not enjoyable anymore. Think about that. Like the quality of your life at that age is simply not enjoyable because there's a connection between ability and enjoyment. I probably, as an example, guys, wouldn't play chess if I couldn't play at a decent level. Like I'm just not going to play. There's no point, right? Like I'm not going to play something if I'm just not going to be at my old level anymore. What's the point? I don't enjoy it anymore, right? Like some people stop bodybuilding because they can't maintain those peaks anymore, and they have to go through a new valley, and then they try something else, right? That doesn't remind them of what used to be, right? And then for whatever reason you're like 90 now. Let's just say for whatever reason you're 80 to 90, right? Like at this point, it sounds terrible, but like you're probably forgotten by most people. Most of the people are dead right now. Um, you go outside, people treat you differently. Um, you're treated like shit, like contrary to popular belief, guys, but we treat elderly people very poorly, in my personal opinion. We don't treat them very well. In the United States, older people are not as valued as much as younger people, unfortunately. Um, and then like, just like it's just difficult to do stuff. It's like you'd like to go hiking, rock climbing. That's not really a possibility at 90. It might be, but it would be very difficult. You can't run as fast, and just all this diminishing ability. And then for whatever reason, you somehow make it to 100. You have maybe 5 years left, 3, 4 at the most. If you're a guy, you can expect you're dying no matter what in 10 years, 5 to 10 years, 3 years, 2 years, you're dying. The time is up. The timeline is over. No man has ever lived beyond 115, 116. So there is a finite hard limit on how long you can live as a man. A women's theoretical lifespan is a slightly longer if you're lucky. And then, yeah, guys, you're like, damn, I'm stuck in a nursing home. I can read books. I can, like watch TV. I have maybe like 700 days of life. Think about that. You had thousands of days. Now you have hundreds of days. And then, bam, it's over. You just die. You don't wake up. And then it's probably like you're not experiencing anything. It's just a nothing, right? So I've just gone through like the whole human life process for you that you are going through right now, that we all will go through. If we're decisive, if we're smart about it, then we can make the most of this time. We can be decisive. We can make this journey more enjoyable. We can be influential, and we can realize it's not all about us, and we can make memories that count and make the moments matter, right? And that's pretty much it, guys. So like, yeah, just something to think about going forward. Find where you're at in this, like optimization scale of life, of the lifespan, and then try to optimize wherever you're at. If you're like 50 and you have like 30 years in prison, then you're just going to try to do whatever you can with the remainder of your time to optimize what's left, right? If you're younger, then you're ahead of the curve. Um, and then some people don't even get that. They just get their legs and arms blown off, and there's nothing to optimize. They're just trying to optimize your emotional state, and that's for a whole different video about different types of optimization. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much it. So just like really think about that. You're like, damn, I'm alive at the exact right time to be on a fucking rock at the right distance, to not get fried by the sun, at the right part in the Milky Way galaxy, to not get sucked into a black hole, to not get hit by a meteor, to not get hit by an asteroid, to not get shot, to not get killed, to not be born at the wrong place at the wrong time. I wasn't born in the Stone Age. I wasn't born in the 13th century where you got killed for not believing in Christ. Think about how fucking lucky you are. Okay, pretty goddamn lucky. Too lucky, I might add. In the right universe, I might add. You're in the right universe with the right subatomic physics to allow anything to exist. If any of those physics did not work, you go bye-bye. And because it works, you can have memories, you can see, you can act, you can talk, you can do all this. Okay, that's all I have for you guys for optimizing forward. Please like, comment, subscribe, and that's all I have for you guys. See ya.